This is Victoria. The cut we're going to do on her today, that is part of the Caribbean Quick Cuts, is the Beach Babe. As you can see, Victoria has beautiful, beautiful natural curly hair, and we had a little bit of a consultation. Her biggest concern is she really doesn't want any fringe, and she wants to be able to pull this hair back because she's very active. I think the Beach Babe is the perfect cut for her for that very reason. It's a cut that she should be able to do minimal styling to, but if she wants, she could straighten this out and have a completely different look, a more sophisticated look. So we're going to go ahead and send her back. I'm not going to remove hardly any length. I will take a little bit off the length. Most of where this cut's going to change is we're going to put a few more layers in here and just give it a little bit more structure. So I'm going to go ahead and send her on back and get her ready so that we can start this cut. Victoria's back. She is our Beach Babe. We've gone ahead and sectioned her off into two ponytail sections. The top section is the round of the head. In order to determine where that's at, you're going to lay your comb against the head. Where the comb lays flat is the flat of the head. Where the comb tends to rock is the roll of the head. And the part up here above the roll is the round of the head. I've taken this first section, incorporating the whole round of the head, and then I pulled it directly up to the center front. The back section is the remaining hair from the roll to the flat down. I've pulled it up as high as I can pull that and put an elastic in there to hold that hair there. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to use my heated vibrating razor. This razor was designed to be used for two purposes, or two main purposes. One of those purposes is for dry hair cutting. The other purpose is for natural curly hair. The heat in the razor helps to close down the cuticle so that the razor will slide through the hair without pulling or snagging the hair. The vibration helps to push it through. So taking her hair that's already ponytailed at the center of the front, I'm going to pull it straight down. Now she doesn't want fringe again, or a shorter fringe. So I'm going to cut this right at about her chin. So it's going to release about 4 or 5 inches of hair. I actually don't even need this comb right now. I'm going to squeeze this hair together. It's already banded at the top. And then I'm going to take this razor and just kind of rock it back and forth as I twist this hair to release it. I'm just feeding this hair into it until the hair is completely cut. Twisting it just helps to feed it into the razor. She has a lot of hair. And you just keep moving back and forth, twisting as you do. And I'm just releasing the hair some at a time. This is going to allow the hair to lay soft and fringer on the front. There's a little piece right there that slid out of my grip, so I'm going to just come right back and get it. Just remember to twist as I work this razor through. There we go. That has established the length for the front. Now I actually can just take this band, slide it straight off of her hair, and then release it out of her face. That's my first cut. You can see when this releases that we've got a nice length, just a little bit longer than her chin. And keeping in mind that this is naturally curly hair, this hair is going to shrink up, and by the time it dries, it'll be right at her chin level. I'm going to go ahead to my back ponytail and do the same thing. I've elevated this. I'm going to pull this straight up. There are a few little shorter pieces right here I'm going to use as my guide. I don't want to release a whole lot of hair off of her hair, so I'm going to pull that straight up, and doing the same kind of technique, I'm just going to work the razor around the head. I'm almost back combing, sort of, and it's just going through this natural curly hair. She just has a lot of hair. It's just going in there, rocking that out, keeping tension up here so the hair will release. As it's cut, there you go. Let me pull it up just to make sure it didn't slide out too quickly. There's one little piece right there. Then I'm going to release that band. Now what will have happened as a result of that is allowing us to maintain her length while giving her some soft layering. And then this hair is going to come right back on top of that and allow this hair just to fall in nice, soft curls. We also have created a V shape in her perimeter, just allowing it to have a more natural flowing look. Now, the only other thing I'm going to go in and do is do a little bit of a heat stroke, which is a point cutting technique with this razor. I'm going to pull this hair straight out from her part, using her part as my starting point. Straight out. I'm just going to go in and just kind of stroke that out just a little bit, just to lighten those ends just a little bit more. Make sure you keep your tension on your hair or you're not going to remove anything. Again, go right behind that. Pull that straight out. Using tension with your opposite hand, and then just go in and stroke that out. We're just releasing small amounts of hair just to create a little bit more texture in there. And I'm just going to continue to do this all the way around the head form. Keep the tension is going to be the key. Go in and stroke that out. She's very active and she doesn't straighten her hair often. She normally wears it more natural. Again, this is called the heat stroke. It's just releasing just little bits of hair all the way through, just so that this lays a little bit softer when it falls. This particular technique can be done with other razors. The advantage to the heated vibrating razor is the vibration allows you just to put a little bit more pressure on the hair and allows the razor to slide through just a little bit more easily. Victoria's hair is damp, and I would do this on damp or dry hair, but because her hair is curly, I feel like I have a little bit more success with it being damp. Not wet, but damp. I like this on curly hair because it doesn't pull or snag. It just slides through the hair a whole lot easier than what a traditional razor would. This razor is also fabulous for blending extensions, for those of you who are doing a lot of weaves and extensions. Okay, I'm just going to go out and angle her around the face, and this cut's essentially done. A lot of times we get long-haired clients in, and it takes us just as long to style the hair as it does to cut the hair. So if I can do a haircut on this length a little on the drier side, it's going to save me a little bit of time. Right here we've got a little bit of a guide for our facial framing. What I want to do is connect this into her length. I'm going to slide that out with this razor, and what that looks like is this. It's going to section off about an inch section. Again, pull this hair out from where it lives, but I want to be able to keep a little bit of tension there so that I can create a little bit of an angle. So I'm going to take the razor behind my finger and just slide it. I'm feeding it right into the hair, or feeding the hair into it. What I don't want to do, what a lot of people make the mistake of doing when they're doing any kind of facial framing, is they pull that hair way out here. And when you do that, you create a lot of layering back here. And if that's what the client wants, that's awesome. But a lot of times they want more layering around the front and less layering in the back. So in order to create that, if you just pull that hair out from where it lives and just feed that hair right into the razor and let it come down naturally, it'll give them the layering they want around the front without creating too much layering in the back. I'm going to take one more section, pull this straight out from where it lives, and just feed the hair and the razor into each other. Let me pull down the final section just from the back just to make sure this lays in okay. And I think it does. Beautiful hair. We're going to do the same thing on the opposite side. For those of you who are right-handed, this side's normally a little trickier. Again, I want to still keep the tension. I still want the razor to come on top of the hair. I'm feeding the razor into the hair and the hair into the razor. Again, I'm just feeding one into the other. So I'm just sliding this down the hair. And because of the heat, it's allowing it just to flow without any kind of pulling or snagging. Straight down. And just feed that hair into the razor. Then I'll just pull the rest of it down just to make sure it blends into each other. Beautiful. Just that nice, free-flowing, natural-looking beach babe. I'm going to send her off and have her styled, and when she comes back, we'll get to see the curly version of the beach babe cut. You can see these curls just lay beautifully. We flat ironed her hair to see what this cut looks like straight, and it looks fabulous. What I want to do is go back in and tweak this just a little bit. If she would have told me in the beginning that she flat irons her hair on a regular basis, I would have cut her hair dry with it flat ironed out so that I could see the cut as I was doing it and how it was going to lay in. But because she hardly ever, rarely ever flat irons it, we went ahead and cut it curly. But I do want to go through and there's a little bit of heaviness on the sides. I'm going to go through and lighten that up. I am going to use the fishbone on her to texturize this and debulk this just a little bit. And I'm going to use the side that was designed more for cutting, where the teeth are actually a little bit closer together. I'm just going to separate this section by section, and I'm going to cut it in the direction that I want it to lay. I'm going to use a clip here just to clip that back out of my way. So I'm just going to pull this down and flat razor it, like I said, with the more of the cutting side, just to really work this in. Now she rarely straightens her hair. That's beautiful. When you're raising a family, it leaves little time for yourself. So that's why these cuts work out really well. Gorgeous. Just going to remove just a little bit more right in this area here. And you can just see how this kind of coming forward, shaping around her face. Let me work on the other side just a bit. Just pin that hair back out of my way. Pull this hair down in the direction that I want it to lay. And just with this fishbone, just go in and remove the hair I don't want, or where it feels a little bit on the bulky side. When I'm working the angle, I just want to take this fishbone right into the hair and feed the hair into it and just slide it down to remove the desired length. When I am razoring out this hair using this shear as a razor, it's important to know the flatter this lays to the head, the more parallel this lays to the hair, the more hair I'm going to remove. The more perpendicular or at a right angle this lays, the less hair I'm going to remove. So in order to get more bulk out, especially when I'm flat razoring, I just need to take this so that it just digs right into almost parallel to the hair and just push that against, and then I'm going to remove more hair at a time. Again, I'm just reaching back here and just getting a little bit more of this hair out. I'm also creating static, so we'll have to use some product to correct that. Taking it in the direction I want it to go. That is just beautiful. Right here, just a little piece, and I'm just going to put a little pomade in to close down her cuticle. Got a little staticky from me going through it dry. Depending on when you started doing hair will determine the tools and the product that you're more comfortable with using. Pomades are a little tricky. You want to you can't put it on like you would a mousse or a gel. You want to put it on the tips of your fingers so that you have more control of the hair and that you can work this through. You don't want to put too much in one spot or it'll leave the hair looking greasy and you'll need to shampoo and start all over. All right, there you go. We have the Beach Babe in a straightened form.